Good morning. We have a blessed one, guys. Let's get into it. Got a lot of work to do today. Not a lot of time to do it in, so I think I'm going to go through for about 3 hours today. Get ready for my show tomorrow because we're doing not a free comic book day. It's called Artist Day, so that's on tap for tomorrow. However, this piece needs to get rocked out and sent out. So this will make one of my 2 orders that I needed to get done and shipped. So that's what's on tap. Nope, I don't want to go to orders. I want to go to shows. Message me. Okay, that's just a summary. And shows. Yeah, I do have an artist day tomorrow. So, I work with a comic book shop in Florida, and every month they have a series of different local artists come in to like do free sketches for their customers. It works twofold. One, you get to expose people to your work, and two, it helps the store to help local artists get themselves exposed. So it's twofold. Um, and plus the customers, the biggest part is the customers get your art in their hands. Um, the owner of this shop is really tuned into the fact of how the community can help not only his store but vice versa. It goes back and forth. So how are you doing this morning? And since you're new here, I'm going to give you the spiel on what I'm up to, because this sketch cover is not the only thing that I'm doing. All right, so I got to finish up this Spawn sketch cover. However, I'm doing. Oh, I am so sorry. Well, hopefully you'll have a restful weekend. I'm hoping. I wish that up for you. All right, so this is the new big project. This is a year-long project I'm doing. Oh, I'm so sorry. But you know what? Having little bits is always a good thing. How you doing, Bailey? Um, so this is my Road to 1000. It's kind of a cool set. So it's a sketch card series. So this is volume 1. I have a second volume, and that has the other pieces to this. So it's 1,000 sketch cards, 10 categories, 100 cards in each category. You're not old. You're just aging gracefully. So these are some of the ones that we have available. So I'm hoping tomorrow when I go out, I'll be able to get some of these guys out the door. So it's been a very, very busy month. And, I'm almost done with Marvel. I got 9 cards left to do, and I'm going to get those done soon. Last week was my soft deadline to get that done, and now I got to wait until, down the road. All right. Well, I'm glad that you get to have time with that little bit. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, I love, I'm a grandfather, plus I got to see my kids grow up. So those are some times that I will never ever, not enjoy. It was so much fun seeing that. Now I have to ask, is this your first little one? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. At least you get to enjoy this one. That's very important. Yeah, I never got to stay home with my kids, but I tried to make as much time as I could watching them grow up. So you definitely don't want to lose that. Well, thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, this is a commission of a spawn. And what the guy's going to do is he's going to cut out all the negative space, so it'll reveal the image that's behind this. It's kind of a cool concept. So he actually bought four books in total, but this is the original one that he wanted to have done. Turn off my microphone on this one. All right. Let's see here. Let's not do that. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with custom cuts. What do they do on that channel? I'm missing my pencils. That's weird. There's not going to be any color on this one too. So this one's going to be a black and white. That would be cool. I'm going to have to check them out and put that on my list. Custom cuts. Yeah, that's a skill. I don't have that skill. Somebody has to be very proficient at that one. I will stick in my lane for now and just do these kind of sketch covers. I'll let other people knock that stuff out. Thank you for letting me know that. So, Rob, what do you do on here? And Lynn, what do you do on here? Do you do like custom work? Do you sketch? Do you paint? Okay, get my time lapse going here. Get these speed lines going. Go bigger. Different pen. Where is the two? Cool. Yeah, we're doing a workout challenge, and people are just like hitting up the uh, the chat. Never been huge on group chats, but that works. Very cool. Both of you guys got some skills. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing to learn to do. What's going on this morning, Kay? Welcome. Yeah, just trying to knock out this very extensive, detailed cover that I decided to make. I'm torturing myself. Well, I'm trying. I mean, it's. I think after probably about an hour of me noodling on this thing today, once I throw in the blacks and all that stuff, I think it'll be fire. I mean, considering that this only took like an hour to do, I'm very happy with it. So I feel like it was worth the work. The mock up didn't take very long. I think the mock up probably took like 15 minutes to do. And I did that a couple days prior. You know, it's it's almost like it's a skill. So the more time you put into doing it, um, the faster you get at it. Trust me, doing a cover like this, it would have taken me a couple of days to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. But because I do things so rough in the beginning, the time involved is not as bad. It's actually much faster to do it that way. So, you know how you do like thumbnails or something? That's basically what it is, but it's a little bit tighter than that. So, for example, like this is one that I did for a piece. So I did Spider Pig or Spider Ham. So I got this roughie. At least now I know where everything's supposed to go, and then I'm able to then put this down and then refine it on the sketch card. And the same thing happened with this. Um, to give you a case in point, and I changed this piece a little bit when I did it. So I'm going to show you the roughie. So this is the roughie version of it versus the final. So the roughie's there. He has no sword, and now you have the sword and you have the chains whipping through and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean it's not supposed to be pretty. It's just supposed to get your brain in the right frame of mind to finish up the final product. The concept is what you're trying to get. One thing that I've realized when as I've gotten better at doing my artwork is that I stopped trying to do the final on my first try. I don't, especially if I'm doing it for a commission. I don't have to do all of that. I have the time to really put in the work, and I'd rather give somebody something good than half-ass the work. So if it takes me that little 15 minutes or so to, clean something up to get that idea down, then I'm going to definitely do that. Yeah, I mean, if you have the time, you put in that little extra effort to do the stuff in the beginning. Um, I actually learned this process from another artist. He really his goal is not to do it pristine on the first go around, right? If he can go through it, check it, make sure that he's able to get all the like fine tuning pieces, like trying to figure out color concepts and all that kind of good stuff. He does all that before he goes to final. So that way, when you go to final, you're not trying to figure things out. You're actually done. And all you're doing is focusing in on the final rendering. And that's a smart process to do. Um, a lot of, like, if you think about it, when they do movies, right? Animation specifically, they do animatics on purpose so that way they can figure out like lighting and they can figure out camera positioning and stuff of that nature. So you're doing all the hard work ahead of time, and then you do the cleanup at the end. And especially when you're working on here, I mean, if you're doing a project on here, you people want to see the process, whether you believe it or not. People are watching to kind of see what you're doing because they want to know the magic behind your designs. People are studying your work. I mean, I've done it for years. Like I'll pick apart an artist and I'll be like, okay, they do this with like their hands in this positioning. They got this particular tool. I'll research the tools and all that kind of good stuff. So people are really examining what you're doing. So if you've got something good, why don't you just take the time to keep it clean? Speaking of which, have you used those Prismacolor pencils yet, other than working on Crane? Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you pull off with those down the road. So I'm really, I feel like, once you started getting a really solid hang on how they work, there's nothing you can't do. I think we're in a good spot with that. I'll have to get these pencils out of here and then I'll be able to see it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the one part that I try to do is get the idea out of my head and get it on the paper. And the best thing that I learned was if you can give an emotion, like if you were to pick one word to describe your work, that's what you want to convey. So in this one, it's conveying like power and strength. So I want him to be back, but I want everything like forced out at you so you know something's about to happen. What's going on, Samantha? Welcome to the stream. But those are the things that I think about when I'm creating. And I think about it only because if I'm not getting that emotion out of it, it's not going to the picture's not going to reflect what I'm trying to get to. It goes off very stale. I think that's the part that I'm trying to get to. And I don't want my work to be stale. I don't want it to be stagnant. I want energy in it. And this particular piece is a good example of where the energy actually is at. Yeah, I mean, planning is everything. So when I decided I wanted to do the sketch card process, number one, I was like, do I really want to do this? That was hurdle number one. Number two was, can I do this? And I told myself, yes, I can. I just have to get past a certain point and I know I can do it. So what I would typically do is I would for these very grand projects and I would kind of get to a point. I would probably get maybe about, I would say, 2% in and get overwhelmed. And the problem was is that I was trying to do too much too fast. It's like going to the gym and you start first day you're going like super heavy, and you hurt yourself and then you never go back again. With these kind of projects, you go in and you say, okay, well, this is what I want to achieve. These are the three things I want to do, and I'm going to go and achieve them and knock those three things out. Keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Know your limits. And if you cannot produce something, be okay in the fact of telling a client that you can't do it. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, fan art's great, but your thing, and I'll be honest with you, your art really shines when you do your work. I follow a guy, his name's Fabio Napoleoni. He is a fantastic artist, fantastic painter, tremendous illustrator. However, when he does fan art, it's not as good as when he does his original art because the feeling is different. And it's because those characters are not his. So the connection's not the same. So when you do like your flower angelic characters, the connection is way different. And I mean, you may not see that right now, but I think years from now, or just maybe a couple months from now, you're going to look at it and you'll be like, yeah, that does make sense. That, the flow, like I can draw these characters so much easier than I can do fan art. And the good part about it is like with him, just like your work, is that as you get more comfortable doing it and you got more confidence in it, you're going to end up selling more of your work because the passion is more in your work than trying to play to doing fan art. I would definitely tell you, don't get pigeonholed to do fan art. That's something that can, wreck a career. But it's good to have it in your catalog of things that you can do. But I'll be honest with you, your work, your designs, your characters are really, a staple for you. They really are. You can see the difference. Hands down, you can definitely see the difference between your work versus the fan art. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's a reason why this character, so Spawn, there's a reason why Todd McFarlane is so successful with this particular character. He's successful with this character because this is a character he created when he was very young. And because he's passionate about this particular character, he's been able to have one of the longest running independent comic books of all time. I mean, that's proof in and of itself. He hasn't jumped ship. He hasn't deviated from his, mission. This has always been his character. This has been his brand for the last 30 plus years. And nobody else in the industry can say that other than like Marvel and DC. But as far as like creators, he's like the only one. Like him and Eric Larson are probably the only two that have long running characters that have looked and felt the same and have tremendous energy and momentum because they're passionate about it. So when you think about your artwork and you want to look at fan art, use it, but don't use that as your main thing. Use that as kind of like a gateway to get you into where you want to be. Yeah, because like for myself, like I draw a lot of fan art. Like that's my big staple. However, when I want to flip back and I want to start painting and doing things that are out of my medium, a lot of the things that I draw look the same. How you doing, Carrie? They look similar to fan art. So you have to be careful on doing too much of one thing because your skills can kind of like bleed into another and they don't reflect what you want to do. Well, here's the thing. If you're doing fan art, right? Do it in your style. Do it in your style because your style will reflect through the work that you're doing. Like it'll bleed through. So, for example, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy. His name is Scotty Young, but he does these characters called Littles, and they're basically miniature versions of all of Marvel characters, pretty much any kind of character. And let me see if I can find him real quick here. Let's see here. Grab a brush page and I'll show you. So this is Scotty Young artwork. Okay. This is his style of characters that he has created over the years. Now, this is another person that I follow. His name is 1000. Now, he does fan art, but he's a graffiti artist, so he does stuff like this. It's very fun. Let me see if I can find another piece of his artwork. There we go. This is what I'm looking at. So like that. Why is it not showing any of his other work? Oh, this is how I find it. So like this kind of stuff. Very whimsical, that kind of stuff. So his art is very unique. And then that other artist I was talking to you about, his name is Fabio Napoleoni. Now this guy is fantastic, but here's the thing. Like this is his main character right there. Now, this character is based after his grandfather. And you'll notice that the character has a bunch of stitches. The character will change from picture to picture, and the stitches reflect all of the surgeries that his grandfather had. And then the girl that pops up in here, like this little redhead, this is all the women or ladies that his grandfather dated throughout his life. But see, these you can see like every one of these have a different feel for them. They're very beautiful, right? Now he'll do fan art, so like this is a take on Muhammad Ali. It's not the same. You can look at it like when you see this versus this has more feeling to it, whereas this is kind of like stagnant. This is not his style. More feeling, more feeling. I mean, you could just see like it just gets better and better and better. And like this would probably be the closest one that he could do like fan art wise that, works, but still it's not the same. So that's why I say, I mean, and this is the guy, by the way. That's the actual artist right there. You can definitely tell the difference. His name is Fabio Napoleoni. I'll put it in the chat so that way you can have it. But he's got a gallery. I think he's got a gallery. I think in San Diego. I think. There you go. That's his name. Yeah, I mean, when I tell people about doing your fan art, like that's the kind of stuff when you're working, you definitely want to create things that are you. But yeah, I mean, I get the whole thing about trying to get, to make a couple of bucks here and there on, here. It's always good to have the fan art, but you have your fan art, but you also have your art on the gallery as well, on your inventory. So that way people can see both sides. Like people ask me to paint certain things, and it's a different kind of skill for me to do that. Because I had one lady do. She asked me to do Ruth Vader Ginsburg, and it was basically Ruth Vader, but as like Darth Vader. And then I had another one do one with their dog, but I had to do that all in colored pencil, and that was hard. Like my brain broke trying to pull that one off. Yeah, give people options. You have great ideas, and I would just say, you gotta exploit some of those ideas. I mean, think about it like this: like the things that you're passionate about don't take you as long. So, if you draw something that you really like to draw, it might take you half as much time as it would to do like a fan art. So, but draw a bunch of the ones that you love, and then take time to create a fan art piece. Meanwhile, you could take all your work that you did, right, turn it into like a little book and sell the book for like 20 bucks a piece. I know people that are like that love, you know, fun, colorful, unique types of art. Like the only reason that we know about Fabio is because we were in Miami and we saw his work because it was fun. It was so different from the modern art that we were looking at. Well, here's the thing. I mean, you could do something like that visually. My wife just got a Bible like that from TikTok. Basically, each couple of pages, it's got like a coloring page, and then it's got Bible verses in it. It's kind of cool. Just all sorts of different ideas. I mean, for years when I was young, when I was going to like Bible school and stuff like that, my parents were like, "You should create a comic book that's based on the Bible." I'm like, "Oh, that's fantastic," and it never did. And then all of a sudden, I see somebody else come up with one. I'm like, "Damn it, I should have done that." Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of takes I can do on it. Like I've always wanted to do the story of David and Goliath. I think I could really pull that one off. And the only reason I would say doing something like that for myself is because it's digestible for me. That book is probably the only book that I've tried to read numerous times and I've never finished. So if I had something like that, I have a little bit of entertainment to go with it. Yeah, I gotta squeeze that one in with my other projects. I know it would do well. And the reason I know it'll do well is because I remember when I was a kid, I'd watch PBS and they had the Bible stories every Sunday. I was like, that is my jam. I love this. I will watch these all day long. Oh, thank you very much for talking me up. I appreciate that. Good morning, Gabe. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about people that, have like passion that you can see their work through it, Kat. So, okay, cool. Well, hopefully, we can see him on here. I was talking to Gabe about, his whole thing about doing his watercolor stuff, right? Now, Gabe has been kind of like holding out a little bit on how good he really is, but when you see his work, it's worth it. And I'm glad that he finally started to go ahead and sell his stuff on, whatnot, because it's pretty damn amazing. But you can see it, like his style can be seen in the work that he does, even though he's doing fan art work. It's definitely seen in his work. So that's why I'm saying, like, with you, if you were to like put your style onto some fan art, I think one, it will release some of that struggle that you might be having, and two, you'll just come out with some really, really cool pieces. Are you streaming today? Because if you are, I'll listen while I'm doing my cleaning today. Nice. Okay, perfect. Oh well, I got gym time, so I'll probably try to catch you guys. Well, Gabe, I'm gonna try to get yours today, and then Kat, I'll probably listen to yours right after I get done with church. So it'll be perfect. Well, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. That's fine. Hold on, is that 11:30 my time? Oh, your time. Oh wow, that's really late. I don't know if I'm gonna be up that late. Well, if you have it linked to your YouTube, then I will. Then I'll have to take a look at it through there. You know what? That's not a bad idea. It is a lot it is a lot to do it all. But you're probably going to end up stopping that selling stuff, and then people are going to be like, "Hey, why aren't you selling anything? I don't see anything in your shop." Guaranteed, that's what's going to happen. That's well, you know what? My wife is taking a long time to get me to understand that, right? So, she's like, "You need to know your worth." And really, like recently, we're getting ready to drop some stuff into a gallery, and I did these pieces, like these massive string art pieces. They're 24-inch pieces of string art. One of them took about 36 hours to do, and she's like, "Look, that takes a lot of time for you to do, and you need to price it accordingly. So my price was significantly less than what it should be. And she's like, look, you price it the way that, you what you put into it. So if you price it at 500 bucks, how much really are you, paying yourself per hour? And I looked at the numbers. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's less than what I pay myself or get paid at my regular job. So that's definitely not going to work. So she says, price it out. And I priced it out and I got an appropriate price. And I was like, okay. And when I saw the number, I'm like, that's a lot of money. But at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't buy it, that's all right. That's okay, because not every piece of art is going to work with every person, but you will find that one person that sees your work and they'll be like, that is worth the price and I will buy that. Thank you very much. Let's have a good one. But I try not to give away work unless I have a specific reason for it. So the only times that I really like give away work would be like on here if I'm doing like a giveaway, or if I'm doing like for my intro graphic design students, I give them free artwork because I feel like it's their reward for making it through my class in their first graphic design class. And then obviously for the artist day, I do that as well. But those are the times that I, give stuff out. But I mean, I'm not going like full on, giving 110% when I'm doing those kind of things. I give it the appropriate amount of energy. So I might be pushing it like 60 or 70% versus 100, 110. Which part is fast, Gabe? Yeah. So I mean, that'll be something, I would say if you're kind of like skeptical on, how to price things, how to do it, just take the time to get a good inventory, focus on tightening up whatever skills that you might be a little short on. And then when you're ready and you feel like you're at a spot you can sell this stuff, go ahead and sell it. Yeah, but I mean, as an artist, you have to make sure that you're not just giving away all of your time. If you have a reason for it, if you came into it that you wanted to go ahead and give away your stuff, then that's fine. But if your goal eventually is to really get your name out there, you do need to put a price on your time. Because if you were to go ahead and make a book, right, you're going to sell the book, you're going to put a price on it. You're not just going to give away the book because then you're out money. Yeah, I mean, the thing with pricing, and I found that it's actually a little bit easier to do. So think about like if I mean, you're working for somebody, right? Say for example, you're working for a retailer. So the retailer charges or pays you $15 an hour, right? That if you were to take that value, right, you're getting paid $15 an hour, and you apply that to your time that you're doing a piece of artwork, then you got your number. Like if say for example I do this now, I've been working on this a little bit longer only because I really wanted it to be really cool. But a cover like this, for most of the people that are on here, they would charge like 100, or so dollars. Um, I only charge like 55 to $85 for a cover, but I'm going to give you that value in your piece, 100%. I'm not going to give somebody this kind of work for like $10. That's just not going to work. You definitely deserve something much smaller that that might get done in like 10 minutes. But if I know I'm going to be working multiple hours on something, I'm definitely going to charge you for that time. But that's also, the other part to that, and this will help anybody else that's running into this problem. You need to have somebody on your team. Like on my side, my wife and I work as a team. So my wife is more of the when it comes to my business side, she's the one that'll go ahead and say you need to price this like this, where I'm in her business, I'm like, you need to push this and this and this and this. You need to do certain things, right? So we kind of work off of each other. And you need to have somebody in your corner. It doesn't have to always be your significant other, but somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, and they'll be real with you and say, you need to do this. This is something that you absolutely have to do. You don't have a choice. And when it comes to your business, I mean, I think about it like this: I'm buying pins, right? So if I buy a set of pins, it's going to cost me $20, right? How long will those pins last me, and how many projects can I do with those? So I put that into my factors as well. So I might say, okay, well, for every piece I'm using maybe a half of those pins. So I got to put that number into the work that I'm doing. So I've battled with the fact of, do I need to charge more for my work? And sometimes I'll change it, and it needs to happen. What's going on, Marsh? Yeah, sometimes you got to change your numbers. I mean, I at one point in time, like I was doing these little small sketch cards, and I was charging $10 a book. I mean, $10 a card. It was like I'm putting a lot of effort in here, and I'm not really, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I was like, let me take a look at the market and see what's going on here. And I know that there are people out there that charge a lot more than me, a lot more. Um, and you may not get as much when you get their stuff. They do good work, but it's just not the same as what I would do. And that's okay. I mean, if people are willing to pay that, good for them. Thank you for supporting the arts, but I feel in my heart of hearts that you need to give somebody the value of what the money that you're asking for needs to match the quality of the work. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah, the thing is that a lot of us here, we're all just trying to create stuff, and sometimes we got to just use the channel for what it is. I mean, it's a community based channel. Before any of the dollars started going back and forth, this is all just a community. It's a way for people to connect. The sales and stuff are a bonus, and people buy into you, right? They don't buy into so much the product. You are the facilitator, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if you don't want to stress about the selling part, don't. Just don't. I'm not here to compete with people. That's not my job. That's not what I came on here for. That's not what I'm going to do. I come on here talk to people. I come on here to sell a couple things here and there. I want to educate people, you know, and thank God I haven't had any, any people that have acted out of turn or anything like that. I think that would just be weird if somebody went on here and just did a rant. Um, but for UK, I would say, your thing, your idea of kind of backing it down so that way you can focus on the art, do that because it's better for you to create good art and have a good catalog of stuff and enjoy what you're doing versus deal with the pressure of trying to, you know, do the art and do the sales and all that stuff. It's a lot to manage. This is looking pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed with this. Well, I would tell you, I mean, I have a couple of people that I'd recommend for you to do prints with, and it's like low cost. I gave out my printer that I use out of New York, and you could do printing with that person, very, very low cost. And um, it's print on demand. So there is no minimum quantity. So if you only needed like 5 or something, you can just order that. Let me give you and anybody can use them. I would definitely recommend them. They're super dope company. Oh, what am I doing? Let me go on here. It's called Best Value Copy. Yeah, I don't deal with I mean, I'm lucky in the fact that I haven't had anybody act a fool up on here. And even if they did, I mean, they need to know and respect, what you're doing. Some people don't get that. Then you got to put them in their place. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've never encountered any of those people on here, so I haven't had that opportunity. But I deal with people on a daily basis, so I'm very comfortable telling somebody this is not working. You need to leave. You're not helping my situation, and I try to be very diplomatic about it. What in the world happened to my pencils? That's weird. Um, that is very odd. You never misplace those things. That is weird. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find my pencils and I don't see them. Trying to see if I can use this instead. That's red lead. That's not going to work. Also in there. That is so odd. I don't know where I put those. Oh, there they are. Maybe it's got put in the wrong place. Okay. I just needed my pencil so I can get this cape going here. Yeah, you just gotta know your audience. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of those trolls on here. Thank God. Oh no. Oh, that's going behind his back. Okay. Never mind. I'm good. It's about to freak out. I was like, oh, this chain right here is going behind his back. It's not going in front of him. I was like, oh, it's about to be a bad day. And then he's got the sword here. I gotta get that middle part. Yeah, that sounds good. Like my cats are destroying stuff like usual. Hang on one second. I gotta find out what they knocked over. Yes. Yeah, this thing is good. All right, Dyson is fixed. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's get this done. Okay, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that you get to do taxes. Hopefully, you get something back. I hate paying the tax man. I feel like they're double dipping on me. I have to pay you income tax, or I have to pay you taxes at the store, and then I got to pay you income tax. It sucks. Yeah, I don't know what your Boba Fett's gonna look like, but I can only imagine it's gonna be dope. Yeah, I was watching. It's crazy. So like, and I kind of want to notice like how other countries do their structure. So I was watching. How you doing, Sydney? Hospital. Um, she had to pay everything out of pocket. So she goes to this hospital. It takes her about 40 minutes to do her little thing, right? She goes and gets her prescription and she does her exam for 12 American dollars. Crazy, like insane. So I wonder, like, our taxes and all that stuff. I also I'm like, where do our taxes go? Like I look at the fact that yes, we have to do like infrastructure and stuff like that for our cities and all that kind of good stuff. However, like we had some city construction done here in Port St. Lucie in Florida. It took them literally 4 years to do like I'm gonna say maybe like 3 mile stretch of road. 4 years. It's insane. It was ridiculous. Like the amount of money that they spent and the inconvenience. Like there are a lot of companies that were on that road that lost business because people could not get to them. There's a breakfast place opened up in 2020. They had to close like couple years later because nobody could get to their establishment. They didn't want to go through the headache of trying to go through all the stuff to get to them. It was crazy. I get, trying to fix city roads and stuff like that, but I mean, how much money does it really cost? I don't know because I mean, I don't do those budgets and all that stuff. So if that's where the money's going and they're spending all that money for that, I get it. But when I heard on the news the other day that, we have like companies getting like this bonus, like they have this outgoing money of like hundreds of millions of dollars, is crazy. So it's a whole thing. So I'll just leave it at that. Oh my goodness. That Gabe, congratulations to you. Darth Maul is my favorite um Star Wars character of all time. It used to be Luke, and then of course, back in 1999, he does the holding of the hand and you see the double saber come out, and it's like, oh my god. Yes, they did. That's what I should do. Now that you're making me think about it, I should do a really dope looking Darth Maul. I don't have him on my list of people, but he should definitely be on there. Yes, it is one. Well, it's one of the best. Yeah, that out of the series, that's one of the best. Now, some of the best fights that I've seen recently, if you see it's not The Apprentice, but there's a new one that came out with the twin girls. Um there's a fight scene with the protagonist and the antagonist that's just like so good. It is so good. One that's up there with, if you've never seen Star Wars Visions, check it out because there's a samurai one that they have in there. I haven't seen the second one, but there's a first one, and when you see it, you're just like, this is awesome. This is really cool. Yeah, watching Ray Parks in person doing what he does, he is like at his prime, he was really good. I don't know where he's at right now, but at his prime, he was pretty damn good. And just one of the most personable people you will meet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new stuff. I really feel like I know this is aside from what we're talking about, but I wish Moon Knight had been better. It was going to be psychologically, it was a dope series. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just one of those things where good ideas just didn't happen. Yeah, I knew once you get the black in there, that's the part that makes Spawn really work. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. We were talking about the Spawn movie, and I was like giving my ideas on. I'm like, you need to make it dark. It needs to be really like scary. Because could you imagine, like, you hear these chains like clanging against the ground, and somebody's trying to do bad things, and they just hear it. Like you see a robber doing their thing, and then he just comes out of nowhere, and you just hear the chains, and you hear the cape just flapping in the wind. Oh, it'd be beautiful. Somebody's about to have a bad day. Yeah, this character, out of all of the Image comics, this is my favorite one. Only because he's so deep in his story. Like I like the fact, Savage Dragon's been out there for a while, but this character has got so much of an arc. And I should say Al Simmons, the original one. Like the fact that he killed himself was crazy, but um that's cool. Um the fact that he was able to create a character so unique, it's in Troubled. I mean, I'll never forget. Like I when I was collecting this book, I was trying to get all the covers, right? So I couldn't get my hands on Spawn number 3 for the longest. And Spawn number 3 was probably the first like real funny part that ever happened in the book. So Spawn, if you guys aren't familiar, Spawn, went to hell, or as Al Simmons, and he made a deal with the devil, right? And it was to go back and he could be back on Earth with his family. And of course, because he made a deal with the devil's got a sense of humor, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll send you back, but you're gonna be like linked to me. Your soul belongs to me." And he goes back 5 years later. His wife has a daughter, and he ends up wanting to meet his wife, but when he transforms, he turns into this white guy, blonde hair, blue eyed, white guy, and he's like, "What?" Now, mind you, Al Simmons is a ex-marine, special forces, um, uh, mercenary, black guy, Afro. So to find out that he, lost all, who he was, and he can only transform into that or be a corpse, it was crazy. What's going on, Nathan? Welcome. Yeah, it was kind of legendary. And then the part, I mean, like Todd McFarlane came out swinging when he did this book. So, to find out that he, did the part with Billy Kincaid, and he was a serial killer, and all you heard you see him with the ice cream truck. That book was so crazy. And to find out that, Spawn took it upon himself to go after this guy and take him out, that was a very cool take on it. Like you would never see anybody do something like that in mainstream comics, but he did. He pushed boundaries, and that's why I like this book so much. Visually, it just looked cool because, I mean, you wanted to think he was a superhero, but he was really like an anti-hero, just trying to get back to a world of normalcy, knowing that that would never be the reality. And ultimately, it cost him his life because he couldn't deal with the reality of what he was. I mean, because he ultimately killed Malbolgia, but then he had to take on the throne. And that was something that he never wanted to do. He just wanted to stop this guy from controlling him, or this creature from controlling him. He never wanted to be, part of this guy's army. But it was just an interesting take. I wish one day like I could sit down and talk to old man Todd and just be like, so give me the spiel on what made you think of coming up with this character and going down the arcs that you went down. Because it went from something cool to just something that just definitely had a different feel. that went multiple different directions. All right, let me get a piece of paper. I do not want to mess this up. Yeah, I mean, once Todd stopped drawing, I almost fell off the train. But um, I realized that Todd's smart. Todd is very, very smart. And the fact that, he knew that he didn't want to do comics for the rest of his life. He knew that, that was a hard road to go down, and he had achieved the success that he wanted. So now it's just building a sustainable brand. And how does he do that? He buys baseballs, he creates a toy company, and has this legacy of all of this stuff that he's been able to create. But honestly, the book got better after Todd left. And I say that only because when Todd was coming down to his last couple of books that he was working on, his work was, I would say, kind of like tainted by the fact that he was doing a lot of business stuff. You could tell it in the work, like things were off. He was never a bad artist. Like that never was the case. He kept on getting better and better from book to book, right? But you could tell that overall the work was not at the level of where it was when book 1, book 2, even up to like book 10. It wasn't the same. So when he dropped off really on book 21, you could tell the difference in the work. But he had a plan. And anybody that's watched his interviews, you'll see it. You can watch what he did. He's like, I have a number of books that I'm going to do just to kind of get the ball rolling, and then that way it allows me to focus on other things to keep this thing going. Because he had the foresight to see that the bubble of the 90s was going to pop, and when it did, he needed to have a plan to be able to still be able to have a life and do the thing that he wanted. Because he never wanted to do like most of us do and work for a corporation. He wanted to be able to have decision making skills in the corporation. So the best way to do that is that you build a company that is run by you. And he did that. That's why we got Todd Toys. So I mean, he's a really good example of how things, like how you should look at where things are going. Like even like Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, they knew the bubble was going to pop. Um, I think like when I look at the story of Rob, I'm like, the reason why you failed is that it was too much too fast. You were too young to be able to control all this stuff, and you just did not have the money, nor did you have the product to make things work. So he oversaturated his comics and didn't deliver on all that stuff. And that was a problem. I mean, it even happened with Jim Lee stuff. Like you had too many different things going on. Even with like Todd McFarlane, even though I think he's got like 6 or 7 titles now, but that's 6 or 7 titles. That's successful, right? I can sell that to somebody. There's a little bit for everybody. Whereas if you have like 20 to 30 different titles, number one, you have to come up with stories for all that. Number two, you have to pay staff to create those things. And if they don't create, I mean, if they don't publish, you're out that money because you still have to pay the artist and the staff to go ahead and create the book. So that's a whole lot. So Todd's whole idea of just keeping things nice and tight was smart. And he didn't till recently start to expand out beyond the main Spawn title. Like he did it once. So you saw Medieval Spawn pop up years ago, and you saw Violator pop up years ago, but they really weren't like great titles. So he was like, "We're done with that. We're going to just keep rolling with this guy." And then he had more characters pop up in his books that really got popularity, and then he started to be like, okay, well, let's see if we can make a story arc over some of these characters. So he's like, well, now we have Gunslinger Spawn, we have Hell Spawn, and we have there's the girl Spawn, and then we have he's like a beast. I can't remember what his name is, but there's a beastly looking Spawn. But there's not a lot of titles. Even this Spawn Kills Every Spawn. This is a mini series, and this is the second time they've done the Spawn Kills Spawn to Kill Spawn. So he's smart in what he does. He doesn't want it to be too big, but he doesn't want it to be not enough. And that's knowing your product. That's being, aware of what the market is and going from there. Well, what you got for me, watercolor? All right, let's see what you got. Ooh, what do we got here? All right, let's see. Let me see something really quickly here. So Nathan, did your friend tell you what kind of stuff I do? Oh, nice. Oh man, the Padme is really good. Just so you know. So a couple things. Just so you can be in the know. Um, so that right now I'm working on a Spawn piece, as you can see, and this is a commission for a guy named Custom. So he's going to actually cut out all of the negative space that's in here to reveal the piece that's behind it. So that way it gives a little bit of pop to the actual cover. But my big thing that I'm working on is this guy right here. Let me pull this back so you can see it. All right, so this is called The Road to 1,000. This book contains the first series that I'm working on, and right now I'm doing 1,000 sketch cards in a year, with 10 different categories, 100 cards per category. So we have Marvel, we have DC, Image, Transformers. What's the other one in here? Hang on one second. I'll tell you the last one that's in here. Transformers, video games. We have Pokemon, wrestlers, movies, cartoons, and there's anime. So those are the 10 categories. So I'm doing characters from each one of those categories, and we're just gonna collect them up and knock them all out. So I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that's been done. So these are some of the Marvel cards that have been done. And I'm not keeping these. These are all like, if people buy them, they buy them. I'm just trying to do the 1,000. So I keep high res versions of these for myself. So if I ever want to, expand upon this, I can. So like stuff like this, you can see all like some of these have already been sold. I'm gonna work on I got Echo that's supposed to go there. I mean, we've got Reed Richards over there, some Forge. Right down here, if you can see it, there's Ghost Rider. This is the Guardian. Uh, Goliath. You got Green Goblin. Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are right down here. This is one of my better pages. It's kind of like when things really start to cook. But you have Hercules, Howard the Duck, obviously the Hulk, Johnny Storm, Iceman, Iron Fist, and then Riri Williams as Ironheart. Iron Man's up there, Jessica Jones, Jubilee, Juggernaut, Kazar. This one took me forever to get done, but I know he's in the. There's Kazar right there. I can't remember his name. I'll have to look him up. This is one of my favorites. So I love that character. I don't like the movie. So Kraven the Hunter. Obviously you had to have Nick Cage, or not Nick Cage. This is Luke Cage, Magneto. What's going on, Kay? Mantis. This one I actually ended up redoing, but that's Mantis. You got Moon Knight. Got some Nightcrawler, Omega Red. Obviously, got to have the Punisher. And then Silver Surfer and Spider-Man. So those are my only ones that I've done. So those are them. So I'm working hard on that, but commissions come up, so I got to take those instead, and I'm not going to let them just sit. But yeah, I'm just going to get this guy knocked out today, get him finished, because once this is done, I can ship this whole thing out. But that's what it looks like as a whole. So now you guys can see the whole thing. So, Miss K, are you doing any streaming today? This copy up here, I did not. That came with the sketch cover. This was completely blank. I did none of the text. If I were to do it, I would do this in Adobe Illustrator to do that one. But I don't have to worry about all that mess. Okay, it looks like you got a lot of fans. Let me... Well, give me your Discord and I'll go and check it out. But yes, I am on Discord. Is the Discord underneath your name, okay? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'd definitely be down to check that out. I think that'd be fun. Now, you have to explain to me, what is this mini faces thing, so I can. So when you say 100 faces, do you have like prompts or something like that? "10 minutes of your day, one face for 100 days." Wow, that's a lot. Okay. So it could be anybody? I wish I was that fast. I mean, I can do faces pretty quick. Those aren't too bad. I'm definitely down to try it. 10 minutes. I mean, it kind of works because like when I do my in my classes that I do for my college, I make people do prompts. So this will be perfect for me. And they have 15 minutes to do theirs. I think that's actually good because it helps with the skills. What's going on, Kristen? Oh, I don't mind sharing any of my stuff because here's the thing. I mean, people always like to learn. I mean, I'm getting ready to start teaching a class over at a gallery. So um, I always like to help people learn those kind of skills that I know how to do. Let's see here. Plus, it's just good practice because you need to learn how to do artwork. You need to learn how to do faces, period, from different angles. So I think that's actually pretty good. Thank you. Yeah, trying to make this guy like the chains are the part that really have to pop on here. I mean, because I don't have color, I have to make them pop a lot more. This is what I really think makes an artist uh, really shine. If you can do it without color, then you know you're doing something right. So when I look at artists, period, I want to see their raw work because now we live in an age where we have a lot of digital art, and digital art is good, but it if you're not the right digital artist that works with the color or works with the artist, it can really mess up their work. Even artists that use digital color, they can mess up their own work because they don't know how to use the tools to really accentuate what they're doing. Yeah, I love digital art, but the thing is that I want to see just the raw work. There's something to be said about when you look at an old school comic, they only had a certain set of colors that they could use, and they would use half tones and stuff like that to make that work. And that the art really showed through because you did not have all the resources that we have now. So your work really, you could tell when somebody was doing crappy work really fast. So when I get books from like Jim Lee and stuff like that, I'll get his I think it's like Unwrapped, and they have a bunch of books that are like this. But when you see those books, you get to actually see the raw pencils and the raw inks. I'm sorry, the raw raw pencils and inks, and seeing that stuff. Oh my gosh, it's like it's beautiful. Are you saying that in regards to like when you do digital work, Kay? Yeah, I mean, Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of us, that are in this industry, you just got to learn the tools. And if you can get the tools to replicate what you do in real life, then you're in good shape. But it takes time to learn that skill. No worries. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think Procreate is good. It's not great. Um, I've found other programs that tend to work a little bit better for me. So, like for my thing, like when I use like Photoshop's my strong point, so I know there's a distinct difference between the two, especially when I'm drawing. So Photoshop is a lot more precise when you're doing illustration. It's less pixely. So if you were to zoom in on Procreate, like not even much, it pixelates really bad. It doesn't have a smooth transition as far as like, creating really good drawings. It's a good starting point, but there's nothing that will replace, you just doing it traditionally. Yeah, I mean, I've had to use multiple programs, but Photoshop is my main one that I use to do all of my digital art. Okay, just remember, you're not old. You're aging gracefully. I guarantee you. You guys are much younger than me. Yes, Kay, you are definitely not old. Look, look. I am 40. I'm going to be 48 this April. Gabe's got a couple years on me, but I am a grandpa, so I it's a trial. So yeah, learning all these little things and new tools is a struggle. It's hard keeping up. Here's the thing, like we have this I have this rant I go on about AI. AI is a bubble, right? And they're trying to make this the norm. And as long as people will fight against it and utilize it as the tool that it is, we won't have a problem. But companies and corporations are kind of, throwing that down your throat. And we have to kind of stop that problem. Especially like on the art side of things, that there's nothing that will beat a real hand touching pen and paper. Never. The feeling is just not the same. They can try to replicate, like AI can try to replicate it, but it's not the same. Like feeling is different. You can feel the passion behind the artwork people do. I think what AI is good at doing is making cool looking things from other people's work, at least from the art side. However, I think my biggest hiccup to it, and my biggest issue with it is that it makes people lazy. You know, people right now don't know how like to problem solve and all that stuff. I mean, I saw it last night. We were working on a Photoshop project, and people got stuck, and I tried not to help them because I wanted them to kind of figure out, oh, what tool do I need to use in order to do this? How can I get this effect to do what I want it to do based upon things that they learned in the class? And I gave them all the tools, but they weren't using them. So they needed a lot of hand holding. And that's the society that we've created. However, the flip side to it is even though you might know AI, there's still people that need to know how to do things if the AI systems break, and they will. How you doing, Tyler? So I'd rather be a master of all things than like a master to one thing. You know your I wouldn't even consider an AI, I mean an enemy. I would just know the things that you have to go against. I'm sorry to say this, but even in the art world, people are not going to choose AI art over traditional art. It's not going to happen because there's a feeling like even when you get like this abstract art, the feeling is there. Like you can feel what the artist was going through. You can't like a computer can't recreate a Rembrandt. It's not going to be there. You're not going to ever get Renaissance style artwork from a computer. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There's a reason like when since you guys are like in the same age bracket as I was, there was a study that showed that kids that played video games. Well, I'm just gonna go from the video game side instead of the art. So kids that played video games from like the 80s and 90s learned how to problem solve, learned how to collaborate, work together, figure out things, learned how to fail, those kind of things. Whereas like now, the video games are endless, like you just keep on going and going and going, trying to get achievements, and they direct you on how to do things and all this kind of good stuff. There's no real, you know, loss or frustration or failure. You know, if you were building something with tools, right? Like physically building something with like a hammer and nails, and you mismeasure something, you fail, and you learn from that failure, and then you don't make those mistakes again, or you make them less. When you put things in the hands of other products to do, you don't learn how to problem solve. All right, Kay, you have yourself a good one. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see where things are going nowadays. Like, it takes out the personality. I mean, we were talking about when I go to like McDonald's, and granted, I haven't been there in a minute, but the last time I went to McDonald's, I went into the place, right? And I go to order my food. Now, mind you, I go up to the cash register, same cash register I'd been going to prior, and the guy looks at me, and all he's doing is looking at an order board. He looks at me, he's like, "You need to go to the kiosk." And I look at him and I said, "Dude, I'm not an employee. I don't work here. This is your job. You are literally right there. I need you to take my order." I'm not going to sit up there and try to fight a machine to figure out the job that you're supposed to do, that you get paid to do. Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out for sure. Just make sure it's linked to your YouTube. I'll check it out for sure. Yes, I will be sleeping at that time because I have to get up early for my show tomorrow. So that's definitely not gonna happen. Well, I mean, they did it prior to COVID. They had already said they were going to put in those kiosks, but here's the thing: like there's something to be said about having the human touch, right? When I go to a store, like I go to Walmart, and I don't have an associate there to help me, it's frustrating. Whereas, like, I can go to other stores, like I say a Target or something, my experience is completely different because I have people that I can talk to. Yeah, and that is weird. I mean, they would prefer not to talk to you. And that again, that's perpetuating that laziness. Whereas, before people had to be in your face, willing to help you, all that kind of good stuff. You're making it so that people are not valued. You put a self checkout there. You know what that does? That takes away a job from somebody else. So no longer do you have to have like five employees, you might have like two. And one of those two is sitting up there doing all the corrections to, fix the fact that somebody's trying to buy some cough syrup and they're of age. I mean, come on, really? Or I might misbag something and then I need to have a cashier come over there, look at the monitor and be like, oh, okay, yeah, he didn't mess it all up. Yeah, my friend, I will never go into a McDonald's toilet ever again. Nope. Mm-mm, not happening. You are a brave soul. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, well, they try to stop a lot of that, but if you make it where people have to go through your line, you have somebody putting stuff through their hands. Now, the way you get theft is if somebody like puts something at the bottom of the basket, somebody doesn't scan it, or there's just a dirty cashier. So I would rather have the people up there personally. Put a camera above them and call it a day. Yeah, well, here's the problem. Like that's a bigger issue. So you have to you have to put people in place so that doesn't happen as much. I don't believe that having um all that stuff locked up is a benefit. Like that's dumb. I don't think that's smart. I think you're definitely building a bad environment. I understand why people do it. Video games, I get. Like expensive items, absolutely, that are small, lock them up. But when it's socks and it's razors and all that stuff, I know what the people are doing. They're doing it so that when a person comes up, oh my goodness, they flagged your tidy whitey thing. Wow. Um, And how are you doing? Um, so they will do things like that because of this reason. People will go in, they will grab that stuff, and they will try to do a return on that product, right? Now, what you could do and what these companies should do is that they take the return. Now, yes, they're going to take a loss on it. That's all well and good. But if you give them a gift card, they have to use the gift card. They can't use the cash. The people are trying to swap it out so that way they can get cash in their hand. But if you give them a gift card, then they have to spend the gift card. I'd rather have that happen than, having the people, have stuff behind it. From a customer standpoint, it looks bad. It almost looks like everything's under lock and key. And then you have to find somebody who has the key. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm trying to make him look good. I went a little harder on this one than I thought I was going to go. But when it comes to Spawn, you can't half-ass it. So let me show you something really quickly here so that way you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Oh, where are you? So I'm getting prepped. So I have this Spawn right here. This one's kind of hard to see, but let me get this thing out of here. So I have a buddy of mine. His name's James. A couple years ago, he got himself, well, not a couple years ago, a while ago, he got himself a Nissan truck. So he was like, I want to have. I did it like as like one of these funny cars with the big old tires and everything like that. So I did that one, and he ended up getting a Corvette. So now this is the Corvette, and the Corvette, just like the pickup truck, has the Violator, and then it's also gonna have Spawn. So Spawn's gonna be driving the car here, and then Violator's got his big old fingers and whatnot, and he's gonna have his mouth open with the tongue, flying out this way. But this is prepping. This one right here is prepping me for finishing up this book, and then he'll have a set. I'm gonna see if I can find the picture of the Spawn one with the truck, because it. Oh my god, that piece. You want to talk about a book that took me a while? That book probably took me, I would say, 2 weeks to get done, because there's a lot of perspective in that one because of the big Nissan truck. It would be cool to send it to them. Let me see if I can find this real fast. I'm trying to remember when I sent it to him. Actually, you know what? I'll look in my other messages because I know where I know I sent it to him. Yeah, he got a really good deal for a very cool comic. I hooked that dude up. Let me see if I can find James in here. John, Shirley, where are you? I know he's in here. Come on. That's weird. I don't see him. Oh, I know how I'll do this. I forget you can do these little searches. Where are you, John? Nope, that's not him. I'm not a fan of drawing like naughty stuff, like pornographic stuff. That's not my fan thing. That's the only thing really that I don't like to draw. And I've had people ask me. And the thing is that if I ever have to do that kind of stuff, I always raise my rates because it's not something I really enjoy doing. So if somebody really wants me to do it, they'll pay for it. Okay, so I found the spawn. So let me see if I can get the big picture for it. Oh, you know what? I need to do. Let me go back to messages because I got to see when I sent it to him. July 2024. Well, welcome back, Kay. Yeah, I literally have this guy. It was weird. This is a strange one, and no, I'm going to probably do the business for it with him only because he's going to be a little more discreet with what he's doing, so it's not like so in your face. Um, oh, cool. So he's basically wants me to draw like sexy women like on cars. And I'm like, I'm okay with doing that, just as long as it's not like overly risque. So I can do it, and he's going to sell it for on t-shirts. Less pinup-y, more like sexy style. And I'm okay with that. That's within my wheelhouse. I'm willing to do that. I think it'll come out really good when I do stuff like that. Where is this thing? I know I have it. I'm coming up on it. I know I am. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I mean, is there anything out there that you guys don't like to do? That you're kind of like, I don't know about that. I found it. So there is the spawn one. So that's the spawn one. And there's Violator on the other side. Having a good old time. So that was a lot of fun to do. He loves his truck and he loves Spawn, so I was like, okay. So I talked him into doing the other Spawn. So he wanted both. Okay, you don't like drawing humans? I know you're really good at drawing like cutesy little things. That I know for sure. Wow, I'm actually really shocked by that. Well, definitely I can see on the cartoon side of things. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially after your last large commission, that is definitely the case. Now you guys are making me hungry. I'm supposed to have Brazilian tonight, so I gotta wait. Hold on, that piece that you painted with all those different like little characters that was drawn. I think I got all of this stuff done. I think I'm good. Holy shit, that is very cool. That's a cool concept. That is really dope. What are the odds you've been like, hey, I need you to go ahead and do this? think you just got the right kind of look that I would like to have on my piece of art. That's a really cool collaboration. Oh, speaking of which, I gotta do that today. I will knock that out. I'll do that today so I don't forget. Oh, you do, huh? Yeah, I just don't know what cover I'm gonna do though. I gotta figure that one out. I'm donezo with this one. Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that Discord today. See if I can pull that thing off. I feel like I'm missing something over here. Yeah, so back to the Brazilian. We're going to a Brazilian steakhouse. The lady that is the chef for this steakhouse, she was actually a contestant on Top Chef. So she was based out of New York for a long time. Born and raised in Brazil, took her Brazilian roots and brought them to New York, fine tuned her skills, and then brought the stuff to my area of Florida. And oh my gosh, she is like, here's the thing. It's one thing to have great food, but it's another thing to have great food with hospitality and having a good ambiance. Those are hard to do. So this lady's she's a very it's a smaller Brazilian restaurant, but it's got a very hometown feel to it. So somebody messed up on our bill, and I didn't catch it. My wife is the one that caught it. No, this one is in Port St. Lucie. Yes, definitely in Port St. Lucie. Um, and somebody messed up when they rang up my bill. I called up, spoke to the owner, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So how can I make this right?" So most people are like, they'll fight you on it, but she was like, "How can I make this right?" So she goes, "You guys come into my restaurant on X day, and I'll take care. And we'll talk." So I come in there, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Like, so question. So, um, how about me giving you, meal on me?" So we're talking like we literally got a free meal out of the whole entire thing because of the mess up. So it was better for her to just give us the meal versus, giving back the money, which I didn't have a problem with. I'm better off with having the meal because the food is fantastic. Like she comped us everything. Drinks, food, and it's a Brazilian steakhouse, so this one had the skewers. So the guys are coming around with, you know, Brazilian steak. So they had picanha, and they had Brazilian sausage. They had chicken wrapped in bacon, garlic chicken. I've never had those before. I do like pineapples though. They are good. I think I'm good on this one. I think I'm just gonna keep on noodling at it until I lose my mind. All right, so we're good. This one's a wrap. I think it came out really good. Oh man. I will say this much: we went to a Brazilian restaurant in Orlando, and this Brazilian restaurant. So typically, what they'll do is they come out with skewers. This is not the case with this restaurant. What they did is they came out with they had a rack, so it was like a rotisserie rolling of these different steaks. Instead of them giving you these large hunks, they would slice it super thin and give you like nice cuts of it. And when you put it in your mouth, it like melted. It was that good. Phenomenal food. Yes, it was the best. All right, I got to find these other two covers so I can get these guys going. All right, so this one is done. That'll go with that one. Must be this guy here. All right. Well, okay, I'm going to have to catch up with you after I get done with mine. Good luck on your stream. All right, so next on tap, we got a black cat to knock out. I'll at least be able to get the whole thing of this guy because I have my camera up and running now. Wow, I burnt 2 hours on that thing. I was not expecting that. That's okay. You know, sometimes you got to take some time to get the work done, right? All right, so let's go ahead and build up this black cat. Oops. Now, this is the mock-up I'm going to use for black cat. Well, you know what? That's okay. That's why we get to do it on the show, because we put a little pressure on ourselves and then we just go to work. Having the audience is not a bad thing. And yes, I probably would have cut through it pretty quickly, but you know, it's fine. Let me turn that on. Yep, she's throwing up the peace sign. I'm going to have her holding a set of pearls in this picture. I'm going to put a nice big piece of jewelry like around her neck. Yeah, I want to have like a sexy version of her. So like when you see her, like her kimono is like down, like right at her chest line. So you get just enough of a look. I had to look up some references to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do. Because I look at whenever I see like women with kimonos, they're either very formal, like a geisha, or they're a little bit more, I would say, a little more risque. Sorry, I got to put my jacket on. It is like freezing in my house. And I refuse to put on the heater. Yeah, definitely PG-13. So there'll be no, just the skin showing, not the whole part of the chest. Just a little bit. Just enough to let you know what's going on. All right, let me put that right there so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm getting prepped for tomorrow, so that tomorrow's going to be a good day. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get quite a few pieces done. Usually, like my top that I've ever done was 24 pieces in under 8 hours. I think it was we were there 8 hours. And I was cooking. That was a good day. She's definitely going to be a lot more top heavy. Yeah, I mean, it is cold down here. We're at like 41 degrees. So for Floridians, it's a big pain in the ass, um, but that's okay. But yeah, as far as like the characters go, I had some characters that I knew that I liked. Some people gave me like Transformers and stuff like that, so I was like, "Oh, this is going to be really good. This is going to be a lot of fun." That made my life a lot easier because when I do characters that I enjoy doing, it makes it a little bit more entertaining. Are you in Florida, Nathan? Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. I did not realize that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, for Florida, it's kind of crazy. Um, it's a lot. And I don't mean to be the complainer because I'm not, that's not what I want to do because I know there are people up north that are way worse position than me. But it coming outside to 20-degree weather when you're used to like 70s, like radical change. So on what was it? It was Saturday. So Saturday morning we get up, it's in the 70s. By the time we hit 6:30, it is down close to the 50s. I am about 2 hours away from Orlando. Yeah, I love that area. I just don't like going there as much as I used to because it's too expensive. Yeah, so like my wife and I we used to love going to like Universal. Yeah, the traffic's crazy. Like Universal's gotten even worse. And that's my favorite place to go to. I'm not a huge Disney fan because I feel like Disney's too much for the money that you spend. But Universal's getting kind of like that as well. I just heard like Epic Universe, you're going to spend $200 just to get in the place. Now that's Disney prices. And then you have these obnoxious lines because they have a lot of new product or a lot of new rides, but not their queues are not being able to handle that stuff. Hold on, you're going to come down to OAX? That would be cool to meet you there. Yeah, I thought OAX was a like a fine art kind of thing. Yeah, I would love to do something like that. Yeah, I think once I get past this first gallery thing that I'm doing, then I think I'll be able to knock out something like that. Ooh. You know what? I'm going to have you answer that one first, and then I'll give you my answer. A little bit, but I'm just curious to kind of see Gabe's side. Man, you are playing dirty. Okay, so I'll answer your question, and you got to answer the next one first. All right, so Marvel versus DC. I can't really decide which one I. Well, I'll go more Marvel, and this is why. Marvel has the cooler characters, but DC has the better stories. All right. I've always said that. That's always been the case. Marvel definitely has the better characters. But when you go, Marvel versus Transformers, it's Transformers all day. I get you got to answer. You got to answer one of those. Transformers, hands down. I'm not even gonna. That's not even a contest. Yeah, yeah, that's no brainer. Star Trek was about to be cool when they came out with the new movies, and then they kind of stopped it abruptly. Okay, so we're gonna do verses. Okay. Oh boy, damn man. Whew. You're just not playing fair today. um, what's up, Switcher? Oh boy. Mm, oh man, you're not playing right today. This is just not cool. Oh, okay, that's cool. So, all right, to answer your question about that one. No, no, no. We'll get to this one. Let me wrap this one up because I want to answer this. So if I'm going GI Joe versus Masters of the Universe, it's definitely going to be Masters of the Universe. Now, if I go Masters of the Universe versus what Thundercats, it's going to be Thundercats. If it's those two versus Voltron, Voltron wins. What's going on, Cartoon Cutie? So now you have to answer. Which one do you go with? This is going to be a black cat in a kimono. But you missed the one that I finished earlier. The one I finished earlier was this one. Oh, let me zoom out here. So that's the one from earlier. So yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to try to get an RC done, but I'm only going to be able to draw for like another half an hour because I got to do stuff here in my house. Got to do some cleaning. Can't draw all day, but I'll be back at drawing later on today, just not on here. So this was a cool commission from last week, so I'm trying to get this one done. I figure I'd get the ones out of the way that would be easier first, and then knock out the harder ones last. So this is one of the harder ones because Black Cat is in a kimono. Oh, Gremlins, man. Gremlins. Freddy Krueger or Mike Myers? And this would be for anybody. Which one do you pick? Freddy Krueger or Mike Myers? So do you pick Pennywise over Freddy Krueger? Hold on, hold on. You don't know about Freddy Krueger? The man with the nails for the hands? Nathan, man, we might have to do that in my class so that way you guys can, know what's up. And Pennywise? And I'm not talking about Pennywise from like the old 80s movie. We're talking Pennywise from the It movie that, is out now. Yeah, well, I mean, these are some good ones. You would like these. I mean, Freddy Krueger, not so creepy. Pennywise Pennywise as a whole, not the all the movies. Pennywise himself, creepy as heck. Yeah, what does he say? Everything floats down here? Now look, when the 80s one came out, I will always give it to Tim Curry. Tim Curry is was probably one of the scariest characters to ever come out in movies as Pennywise, but it was taken to a new level when Skarsgård took it over. That Pennywise was like it almost got into your soul. That's how crazy and creepy that was. All right, so let's take a look. So you're going to do which one, right? Making a choice. Um oh cool. Trying to think of a good matchup that we can use. What's a good one? Oh, really? Huh. How neat. Wha- hold. I know you can't talk about it, but you got this by talking to the person. Whoa. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to dig any deeper because I know there's probably like confidentiality issues in there. But still, really cool. I almost want to be really jealous, but I respect it. That's really neat. Oops. Yeah, so um, I, I like both of the actors that played Pennywise. I like Skarsgård because he makes a good character. Um, he's very underrated. That's the problem. But if you've ever seen John Wick, the fourth chapter, he was in that, and he played the bad guy in that movie. And he's creepy every time that you see him come in there, with exception to maybe one movie where he was playing like this martial artist. Um, Other than that, he's got a really good track record. He's a really talented actor. Yeah, he's very much underutilized because his skill is pretty phenomenal. I have not. I'll have to take a look at that. Did I ever tell you guys I got to actually talk with Neil Adams and I didn't know it was him? Yeah, so I was down in Miami going. I was at a comic convention called Florida SuperCon, and I was placed in a table and along with a couple other artists, and I saw this older gentleman, and he was bringing out these amazing looking Batman pictures that he had drawn, and I thought he was just an artist, that was on Artist Alley, just like another one of us who just happened to be older and more skilled. And when I was over at that Artist Alley, that's kind of how they had it set up. He was just chill and came in as nice little, what do you say? It was like a button down shirt, put up his stuff. And I was like looking at him like, this stuff is good. And this is prior to people having these big stands with their names and all that stuff. He didn't have all that. He just had the art showing there. So, um, come to find out, one of my buddies comes up to me and goes like, "You know who that is, right?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "That's Neil Adams, dude. That's a legend." I'm like, hold on. This is the guy that drew like the legendary Batman stuff and whatnot." He's like, "Yeah, that's the guy. He's the guy that you were like drawing samples of his artwork, years ago when you were a kid. That's that guy." And I'm like, "No way. This is crazy." You would However, now mind you, the only way that I would have ever known, because we didn't have the when that was happening, the internet was kind of like it was as far as like looking up artists and stuff like that, that was new to me. I didn't really track other people outside of like my main guys of, Todd McFarlane and all them. But even at that point, it really wasn't that prevalent. So I didn't have really a picture of that guy. I never had a picture of Neil Adams. So I never knew in my mind who he was. I just knew the art. So I recognized the art before I recognized him or before he was told to me who he was. And it was just seeing the work live, seeing him actually draw live was amazing. When people say that that dude was a legend in his craft, yeah, he was that person. Are you kidding me? Holy crap. That would have been so cool. That is awesome. I probably would have pooped myself a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, you know who you are, right? That dude, I would have noticed like right off the game, right off the gate. You must have been like young or just not in the know or not even thinking about it. Well, you couldn't have been young. This is Lyft, so that makes wow. That was relatively recently. Wow, that is a hell of a story. That is crazy. I would have lost it. Well, you've heard of the group called the Zach Brown Band. You ever heard of them? The country group. Um, so Zach Brown Band is one of my wife's favorite groups to listen to. Now, we at the time, this is when they were really like popping off and they were like everywhere. So at that time, they had um oh, okay. Well, I mean, regardless, I mean, I'll just tell the story. So, um, at that time, they were really like popular and hot, and they had just won a Grammy. And this was like in March of, I would say, like 2014, something like that. So they won a Grammy, and here in Orlando, we have something called Mardi Gras at Universal Studios. So they basically have a bunch of artists that come and they do live concerts on stage there. So he and his group came to Florida to kind of like hang out after the Grammys. And so my wife and I are having dinner at the Hard Rock. We sit down, we order our drinks. My wife's just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go hit the bathroom." So she goes to the bathroom. As she's coming back, now I saw them, and she's coming towards me. The Zach Brown Band is walking towards the back room, which is a little bit more of a quiet area, less, people to mess with them. And my wife literally is walking towards me, walks past the whole entire band, and sits down. And I look at her, I'm like, you know who you just walked by? She's like, who? Like she was completely oblivious. And she goes, I go, you just walked right past the whole entire group of the Zach Brown Band. And she goes, you're lying. And I said, no, you literally, the dude had his beanie on his head walking past you, the lead singer. So my wife, as we're leaving, she has like her iPhone, so we're walking by, so she does like the stalker, picture taking. So she's walking by and doing the click, 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 click as she's going by. It was crazy. Really? I mean, you really can't say anything to somebody when you're doing that. I mean, they're you're midstream. You're like, do I say it? No. Oh, that's good. At least he was cool about it. I got a chance to. I met Carrie Elways. That was fun. Now that was at a convention, but he wasn't in his booth. He just came. He was just walking on by, being like nice and cool. But he was really neat. Um, wow. My favorite encounter was when Kevin Nash hit on my one of my best friend's then girlfriend. That dude was hella huge when we got to see him. He's every bit of just massive. And I think my best celebrity run-in was probably when I got to see Shaq. He was really neat. He was very nice. Even though he had to like leave super fast, he was even just cool about it. Like I said, hey, can I take a picture with you? And he's like, hey, if you can keep up with me, yeah, you can take a picture with me. And he had that like deep voice. I want to read this story, but it's not coming up. Let me hide. Why is this doing this? This is so weird. All right, cool. Now I'm back to normal. What's up, Sienna? Yeah, it's having this kind of life when you get to see stuff like that. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm just working on this black cat, trying to figure out this hand. Wow, you got to see. I would love to just talk with that guy. That's very cool. That is just the coolest experience. Okay, so I got pretty much all of the kimono ready to go. That's an experience. You can never you'll never ever not Remember that. See, now I have to go to California so I can go and see a couple people. Well, Sienna, so I do sketch covers. I have some here. Um, I also order in sketch covers. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be grabbing an order, but I have a listing um, on my store, and you can purchase one that way. Holy crap! What were you looking to get done, Sienna? Yeah, I think I'm going to have her with a necklace. And I think it's going to have the infinity sign on there. I think that'll be fun. Yeah, I mean the process on doing something like that, I would just need you to send me the blank, but I would do the same thing for you. Yeah, it'd just be the same exact thing. So you would you would do the purchase for the sketchbook, just like you. The only difference is that I would have you send me the book. Yeah, I think the one that's probably the most memorable. Well, there's two. So I used to work for Best Buy years ago, and a lot of celebrities live in Vero that people don't even have a clue about. Um, so Gloria Estefan has a hotel that's based out of Vero. How you doing, Frank? And she would come down there. Obviously, she because it's her hotel along with her husband. They would come down there all the time, and so would her daughter Emily. Um, I had heard that she would frequent our store from time to time because obviously, like anybody else, she needs stuff. And at this point in time, she would go to the gym, come back, and go pick up stuff. So I knew that she would be coming in frequently. I worked a lot of the times, but I'd always miss her. And one day when I was working at the front, because at this time we had what we call law loss prevention specialist. So that's what I was. So I'd be at the front of the store saying hello and checking receipts and all that stuff. So one day she comes in. I see her come in. I say hello to her. I see her daughter come in. And mind you, her daughter's like super little at this time. So she's not a grown adult. She's probably like 6 or 7. And she comes in and I said hello. I saw her. She's super tiny, so you can't miss her. And I look at one of my friends that is at the store. That's an associate. Now he's not busy, so I said, "Listen, I need you to stand up here, watch this stand, greet customers, and check receipts. I have to go get this autograph from this lady and I have to get it now. And I had this asshole manager, and I will always say that she was, because she was being a little ass at this point in time. So she was pregnant and she felt like she could say whatever she wanted to me. And I looked at her. She goes, if you go and mess with that customer, if you ask and talk to that customer, you're going to be fired. And I said, then fire me. I don't care. I'm getting this autograph because my sister is a huge fan. I'm getting the autograph. So I left the stand. Um, the lady, I went up to her and I said, I was trying to be as like humble as possible with the lady, with Gloria Estefan, and I said, "Listen, my sister is a huge fan. She's been a fan for, since she was a kid. She knows like everything that that's out there about you, that can be known. And the one thing that she just would love to have is to have an autograph from you because she's never been able to have that." So Gloria Estefan signs the autograph, puts it on this paper, and was just so nice about it. She said, "Thank you." I mean, she was so sweet. She was thanking me because because I was doing this for my sister and whatnot, and I was able to get that autograph. She had no issues with it. And lo and behold, I get back to the front, and this manager said nothing to me and kept on pushing because she knew I was serious. I did not care. I would have taken the hit for my sister any day of the week. But that was a fun story. I mean, almost losing my job over an autograph. All right, so she needs to have another necklace around her neck. Yeah, I don't have, look, my bosses, if I feel like it's justified about what I'm doing, I do not care. I'm not going to let you boss me around, especially some little squeaky new manager. She literally was in our store for like 2 weeks. I don't have time to listen to you. I respect your position, but don't try me like that. Yeah, she had a more of a complex of a boss complex. She just wanted to make herself feel important, and I wasn't having that. Yeah, unfortunately, some people will push me to limits, and I'll push back. Zero cares in the world. The one thing that will never happen is people getting between me and my family. Are you talking about with one of your orders? Like, so you did an order and it's got like a time for you to send it out. All right, so what you're going to need to do is you need to print out. You need to go in there, go on to Whatnot, and say, for example, let me pull my Whatnot up here so you can see it. I'm trying not to show the person stuff so that way they don't get mad at me. Come on, you. Minimize show. That's what I want to do. Cool. All right. So, say for example, I go in here, I grab orders, right? So, I might have a bunch of different orders. I would go into the order for that customer. Now, right here, it's going to say generate um, label. All right. And then what you're going to do is you'll confirm the shipment. That's how I would do that and just ship that out. Like this one right here, I'm going through, and even though it's late, it's still going to go out. But luckily, I've kept good contact with my customers, so they know it's going to be going out. So this one's going out today. That's the Spawn one. So that'll go out today. But make sure that you confirm shipping, because what it will do is if you don't, it'll throw off your rating. So you definitely want to put it in a shipping status. Ooh, Black Cat is ready to rock. And this doesn't even have to be put in color. It's going to be put in like a grayscale. This is all value colored. So this is going to be a much easier piece to do. Where is? I got 9 minutes, so I got just enough time to knock this part out. Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, I just wanted to get a reference just so I can. Oh, I forgot to put in her damn mask. Holy crap. That's like super important. I'm about to draw her and she has no Black Cat mask on. That's just not cool. It's like one of the essential things of what makes her. Wow, I almost jacked this up. Okay. Yes, we do absolutely have to pay shipping for giveaways. Yeah, Whatnot still got to make their little money. No, I actually did not. I still got that on my list. I have that and Wonder Man that are up next on my queue. I just had to wrap up a series this week so I could free myself up to watch that. Yeah, I want to get through all the stuff that I have. I wish I could put it on while I was doing this stuff because then I could just watch it, but I need to be like more focused to watch a show like that because I don't want to miss anything. No, 97 X-Men 97's first. I'm not watching Wonder Man first. I'm watching X-Men 97 first. Because I feel like I can go through X-Men 97 pretty fast because they're only half an hour episodes. So I'll do that and then I'll go to Wonder Man. Both of them are on Disney Plus. Yeah, because Disney owns Fox now, or Fox Media. You get all that stuff through there, and eventually we're not going to have Hulu anymore, so it's all going to be coming through Disney Plus. Okay, so we're going to put this, make that black, and then yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all of that stuff. I watched this drama called Tell Me Lies, and I told my friend at work that recommended it to me. I said, "You need to like brace people for what you're going to get when you watch that show, because that show's got a lot of stuff in it. It's got a lot of naughtiness in it. Not that I have an issue about that. I'm not a prude, but that's one part. And then the other part is that some people do some really stupid things in it, and you're just like, I want to punch you in the throat so hard because you're doing dumb stuff and you're saying dumb stuff. I don't even understand. Like the motivations of some of these characters are just really weird. So I had to finish watching that, and I wrapped that up the other day. And 97 is going to be my show for this coming up week, because I know I'll be able to blast through that in like a day or so. I might do that while I'm building a website this weekend. Okay. Yeah, because I got a lot of website work that needs to get done, so that might happen. And I need something in the background to kind of take out the noise. That's good. Yeah, and any questions that you have, you can let me know. This is a this is kind of like a separate learning channel. So a lot of people get, some of my background knowledge that they would not typically get in my classes. A little nervous to do that face, so I'm gonna try to see what I'm gonna do there. We'll figure that part out. All right, so she's gonna have. I almost feel like I want to do like the heart of the ocean there on her necklace, but it's too close to her chest. So we'll figure that part out. However, I can get this one here. So this will be like a big jewel. Cool. I like that. It looks good. I just got to work on these fingers before I do a final pass on those. Yeah, I'm going to hit up this face really fast so I can make sure I'm happy with it. And then we'll make this a little bigger. Yeah, that looks good. But I'm not going to work on those hands yet because I don't like them enough in order to finalize them. So I'm not doing that right now. But I will get the face in place. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I get to go to my comic book shop. We're going to do an artist day. Yeah, the mock-ups definitely do the job that they're intended to do. I can kind of flesh out what I want to do with that. And again, it's just a process that I use that I gained from another artist. Yeah, you can. That's where I do all my mock-ups. I do all my mock-ups in Procreate because I can quickly just blob out what I want to do on Procreate. Now, typically, what I'll do is I'll have my tablet near me and I'll do it this way, or in this case, I'll have my phone nearby and I have a picture of the mock-up. So after this one, I have to do an RC, and I already have her mocked up really good. I had to go a little bit tighter with her because she's got a lot of mechanical parts, but that one's going to look really, really good when it's done. So, for example, this is the mock-up for RC, and this is RC from the Transformers, by the way. So that's what she's going to look like. But I can clean up things. So, like when I look at this now, I have more of a Spider-Man look for her foot. I'm probably going to change that a little bit, and then this leg down here is going to look a little different too. So that's just the gist of it. I'm going to do a couple more pieces on this, and then I'm going to have to call it because I was supposed to be done at noon, but that's okay. That was my soft time. Okay, slowly but surely get this little line. You guys got to go all the way down. You can do the 11-inch or the 12. I use a iPad Pro. Mine's a 20. I think it's 2021. But here's what I would tell you to do, Nathan. Just if you want to save yourself some money instead of buying it outright, go on to Amazon, go buy one of their refurbished ones, get the warranty on it for like 3 years. The warranty will cost you like, I think like $50. Um, get that, and then you're ready to rock and roll. You do the refurbished ones, they're way less. They're extremely less. And what you can do is you get one of those, and talking like literally, if you can get one that's like a 2022 or 2021 refurbished, you'll save like half, if not more, the price. And then you will so you got half or not the price, and then you get the warranty on it. Because sometimes, With the refurbished one, they'll act up. So you want to make sure that you have that part covered. So if you have that warranty on there, you're Gucci. Yeah, if I'd known that trick prior, I never would have bought mine brand new. But an 11-inch should cover you if you like the bigger space. It's not really too much of a big thing, but you get an 11-inch, you get a stylist, and you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, if you really want to go less than that, you can always just get one of those iPad minis. I believe they'll work with an Apple Pencil, but just double check. But I only go with the bigger screens. But an 11-inch is the way to go. Yeah, well, they actually have three different pens, which I did not know about. So you have the iPad, you have the Apple Pencil one, you have the Apple Pencil two, and then they have the Apple Pencil USB C. So you got to make sure that you get the right one because it could be a problem. Yeah, I just ended up having to go to the Mac store because I'd never been there before. And my Apple Pencil, my wife bought it for me in December. It stopped working in February. Come to find out when Best Buy got it, I don't know if it was in the system or something like that, but the warranty expired like probably like a month or so after it was purchased, and that was the manufacturer warranty. But they found everything. They were able to replace it right there on the spot, and life was good. Yeah, I try to get look. I'm even though I'm an instructor and I do a lot of different jobs. I don't like spending a lot of money if I don't have to. And I try to pass it on to you guys because if you don't have to do frivolous spending and the products out there, there is nothing wrong with getting a refurbished anything as long as it works. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that you can do, I mean, not disregarding trade-ins. Um, I'm trying to think, what's the other piece that I had? People put them on marketplace and stuff like that. Some people put stuff on marketplace because they don't know how to use it. So just keep an eye out. Like they just have to get rid of it. Yeah, it's one of those. Honestly, if you're using it for illustration, it's not really that big of a game changer. OLED screens really are at best when they're large. They're not really that big of a deal when it comes to small size screens. It does give you a little bit better quality, but you can't really see it as much as you do on a bigger screen. Like my iPad, I wish I gotten a Surface instead of an iPad because that would have been better for me. Um, like I've been contemplating getting rid of my iPad so I can go get a Surface. Only because a Surface is a computer. It's not a tablet. So it's tablet second and computer first. And I can do all of the things that I need to do. I can get Windows on there. I can put my files on there and all that kind of good stuff. And I've contemplated on doing that only because I have those accessibility features on there, and that's important to me. All right, so I got to go ahead and call it, guys. I got to get out of here because I got to do some stuff for the day. I actually got to do some home stuff. So I hope you guys have a good one. Nathan, I will talk to you later. If you got any questions on anything, let me know. You know what my email is. And I wish you guys a very good weekend. And I'll talk to you later. God bless to you, sir. Take care.